what is basically my favorite condiment in the whole world, and it will be yours too, the Lovage sauce. This is it, guys. If you've been to my events and you tasted this stuff and you immediately went online to try to see if you could find the recipe, here it is. It's also in my book, but I've made a few adjustments to make it easier, adjusted the batch size. This is one of those secret chef tricks that I learned from a really talented guy who, among other things, got hit in the face with a scallop by Charlie Trotter and went on to be sous chef to Dan Barber. This is essentially just a garlic and herb aioli, and you can tweak it a lot of different ways, but this ideally will be made with lovage. And if you don't know what lovage is, this is the plant. This is a perennial herb. It is absolutely incredible. If you plant it in full sun, it will get like 6 or 7 feet tall. It's a very, very old herb that doesn't get much play, and it basically tastes like celery on steroids. It is just an incredibly powerful herb, and it's so powerful that we actually have to blanch it before we make the aioli. And you can see here, I've already cut this plant. It's a really, really vigorously growing plant when it's in full sun, and I've already cut this down like all the way to the ground, and 2 weeks later I'm getting another fresh harvest. So it's a really generous plant. It's not invasive. It will get tall and big. It'll be a little fixture like an apple tree, but it's not going to spread all over like a mint or anything. Just such a cool plant. I mean, do whatever you need to find it. Sometimes people sell seedlings at farmers markets, but I had to get transplants. It's also easy to grow from seed. I've grown it from seed too, but it'll take a few years. So we're going to blanch the leaves just really quick. And I don't do this if I'm going to use other herbs like basil or something like that. But we want to calm the lovage down a little bit. Then we're going to chill the greens and we're going to chop them up. You can have a few little tender stems in there. That's okay. And we added an egg yolk. Only a yolk. Do not add a whole egg because it's going to increase the amount of oil you need to add and it's going to be too loose. Then we have garlic, lemon juice, a spoonful of mustard. Some of these things are optional. I also have variations that I describe in the recipe on my site. So don't take the lid off your Vitamix at home. What I want to show you here is you're going to see this kind of vortex. And as I drizzle the oil in a slow, steady stream, you're going to see the kind of eye of the hurricane closing there. And once that closes up, you know that the maximum amount of oil has been added to your emulsion. And if you continue adding it, it would break. And that is not fun for anybody. What you're going to get is this delicious, ridiculously delicious neon green herb sauce that would make a shoe taste good. So I just put that into a mason jar, and the color, you will lose the color eventually, but it's going to be good for 4 or 5 days in the fridge. I'll also add, if you want to pasteurize it, you can use a whole hard-boiled egg if you want to make a pasteurized version. Keep that in the fridge. Okay, how to use this. You basically put this on everything. One of the dinners I did recently, I served it with fried walleye, and there it's pictured with a few little tomatoes and nasturtiums and black nightshade. So with fish, it's like you can make tartar sauce too. I used to serve this Lovage tartar sauce with fried fish in the first restaurant where I was the chef. Fried potatoes. It's incredible with potatoes. There's slow roasted lamb with milkweed cakes and king oyster mushrooms. Or you can mince the greens up and use them fresh and not blanch them. Mince them up into a sofrito and add them to a soup, or add them to something like these lentils there. It's also just a traditional herb to put in soup, like chicken soup, any kind of brothy soup, sweet and sour soup, goulash. It is so good. And don't forget that the stems of lovage, they get hollow and they make a killer Bloody Mary garnish. There you go. Quick breakdown of basically my favorite sauce. The full recipe is on my website. There's a link at the top of the video description for that. Thanks for watching.